Hi guys, I'm Mizuki. So today I've got a little update about my job and I thought I'd film a quick video to share it with you. I live in Canada and work for an apparel company. I used to work as a sales associate, but recently I stepped into a new role as a visual merchandiser, or VMD for short. In this video, I'm gonna talk about two important things I learned while going through the job application process and how I managed to land this role. Simply put, a VMD is responsible for managing the store presentations, including styling mannequins and arranging displays to enhance customers' purchase desires and drive sales. In other words, it's closely connected to in-store marketing. Up until now, I've been job hunting in Canada aiming for a marketing role. But as you can imagine, job hunting overseas doesn't always go smoothly. I've been rejected from countless interviews. Every time I failed, I felt mentally broken and I struggled to keep my mindset stable. However, through the interview process for the VMD role, I learned two key mindset tips that helped me navigating job hunting with a more stable mental state. As a result, I was able to land the VMD role without riding an emotional roller coaster, so I'd like to share those tips here as a note to myself and to anyone who might need them. As a side note, although I got this role through an internal transfer, the process was just like a regular job application, so I'll talk about these tips in the context of job hunting. Whether you are in Japan or abroad, we all eventually have to face the challenge of job hunting. I hope this will be helpful to anyone who's going through a similar experience. Okay, let's get started. The first thing we need to be conscious of is being mindful of how you show modesty and staying confident. Why is it important to be mindful of how you show modesty? In Japan, I grew up believing that it was virtue to step back to show respect to others. However, in Canada, this attitude was often seen as a lack of confidence. There was a first opportunity to apply for the VMD role after I joined the company. I applied for it, but I didn't get it. My colleague was selected instead. Looking back now, I think the way that I expressed modesty have had a negative impact. The word modesty here has two different aspects. The first type of modesty is showing confidence or determination through your attitude without saying out loud. The second type of modesty is downplaying myself when receiving compliments. I was doing both of these very often. As for the first type of modesty, where confidence or determination is shown through attitude rather than words, I thought I was demonstrating my enthusiasm or proactivity through my work and behavior. However, I never expressed it in words. On the other hand, my colleague, who secured the position, confidently communicated her intentions directly to the manager and the area VMD manager, saying things like, "I want to be a VMD and I know I can do it." Plus, she created the opportunity to communicate with bosses and build valuable connections. In Canada, connections are really important, almost like a matter of life and death in Canada. So it was a big deal. I've lived believing that modesty is a virtue, so I never directly said I can do it. Instead, I showed it through my attitude and results. Of course, attitude and results are important overseas as well, but I realized how crucial it is to also express your intentions with words. My attitude, though, wasn't communicated at all. Also, the modesty of downplaying myself when receiving compliments backfired. For example, when my boss praised me, I'd say, "Oh no, that's not true," or "I'm not that great." This gave the impression that I lacked confidence. My boss even told me directly, "Mizuki, you seem to lack confidence." Later, there was a second VMD recruitment and I decided to rethink my attitude in preparation for it. So here are what I changed to overcome the pitfalls of modesty. Number 1, express gratitude when praised. Instead of denying with "that's not true," I started to simply say "thank you." Just this change can significantly alter the impression others have of you. Number 2, express confidence with words. If there is a position or task I want to take on, I make sure to communicate it not just through my attitude but also with words. For example, saying confidently, "I want to challenge myself with this, and I believe I can do it." Of course, I continue to show my effort and dedication through my attitude and work. In reality, I had no confidence at all, but I made sure to act and speak as though I had confidence. If you think about it, a boss would feel more comfortable entrusting work to someone who says, "I can do this," rather than someone who humbly says, "Oh no, I'm not that good." Even if it's just a fake confidence, even if it's just a show, I learned how important it is to express your intentions with words, and I started doing that. What happened afterward? Well, I'll think about it later. Thanks to this, when the second VMD interview came around, they even adjusted the schedule to allow me to attend. If we relate this to job hunting, it's a given that you need to show confidence in interviews and not downplay yourself. But I also think it's important to be aware of this in conversations with people who could potentially become valuable connections. As I mentioned earlier, in this environment where connections are everything, you never know when someone might turn into an important connection. That's why it's crucial to be mindful in everyday conversations. Ultimately, it comes down to building self-esteem. Do you have a plan B when applying for jobs or attending interviews during your job search? I didn't think about it at all. For example, what's your plan B if you apply to 50 jobs and don't pass even one initial screening? Or if you make it to an interview but don't get that job? Without a backup plan for these what-if situations, it's easy to become overly dependent on plan A. I was exactly like that. When I couldn't get past the initial screenings, I started feeling like maybe I can't do this anymore. And when I failed interviews, I'd think nobody wants someone like me. My confidence dropped unnecessarily. It really was pointless. This time, when I was preparing for the VMD interview, I didn't want to feel down again. So I asked myself, what will I do if I don't get this job? As my plan B, I decided that I would go to college and pursue further education. Once I had that plan in place, I found myself feeling less attached to the results. Why? Because if I failed, I'd go to college, and that idea actually excited me. Either way, I knew there would be a change from my current situation, so I had nothing but a sense of excitement. Maybe because of that, I was able to stay calm going into the interview, and in the end, I became a VMD. On top of that, I also decided to go to college as my plan B. I'm taking the bold move of doing both. This experience made me realize that having this mindset is something I want to continue in the future. It doesn't have to be anything big. If you ever think, "I'll feel so down if this doesn't work out," I highly recommend coming up with a plan B, something you can turn to if things don't go as hoped. It might lift your spirits even just a little. So today I shared a mindset tip to help make your job search go a little smoother. Job hunting can be really tough on your mental health, so to those of you taking this challenge, truly great work. Just because you didn't get the job or because you failed doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It simply wasn't the right fit for you. As long as you keep going, you'll definitely find a job that's meant for you. It's okay. Let's keep moving forward together. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!